All right, so today we are digging into something truly fascinating. We're talking about the world of rough, uncut diamonds and what happens when you smash their timeless value together with the super cutting edge tech of the blockchain.
So let me just start with this question. We think of diamonds as these symbols of permanence, right? They're forever. But in the investment world, that forever can also mean they're really hard to buy and sell quickly. On the flip side, you've got crypto, which is all about speed and fluidity. So the big idea here is, what if you could get the absolute best of both worlds? Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, you've got to understand that we're talking about two massive investment worlds that have, up until now, basically operated on completely different planets. I mean, on one hand, you've got your hard physical assets, stuff you can actually touch, like gold, real estate, and yeah, diamonds. And then way over on the other side, you've got the purely digital world of crypto, a place that moves at the speed of light. And just look at the scale we're talking about here. I mean, $101 billion. That's what the rough diamond market is valued at. It's huge. So you might be asking, why aren't more people jumping in? Well, because it's traditionally been completely locked away. It's like this super exclusive club where you need deep industry connections and just a mountain of cash to even get a seat at the table.
And this slide, wow, it just lays out the core dilemma for investors perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, traditional diamond investing is illiquid, which is just a fancy way of saying it's tough to sell quickly, and it has that ridiculously high barrier to entry we just talked about. Then you've got crypto, which offers incredible access and speed, but come on, we all know it's famously volatile. So you're kind of stuck, right? You have to choose between a stable asset you can't easily trade and a super tradable asset that, well, isn't always so stable.
So how do you solve a problem like that? Well, this is where our source material brings in a project called KimberLites. And what they're proposing is basically a bridge between these two completely different worlds, connecting the bedrock of the Earth with the digital ledger of the blockchain. And their mission really is simple but super powerful. The idea is to take all the awesome advantages of blockchain, its speed, how accessible it is, its transparency, and apply all of that to the enduring, tangible value of these rough diamonds. Now, the key piece of tech that makes all this possible is something called tokenization. And look, don't let the word intimidate you. Just think of it like this. You're creating a unique digital certificate or a token that lives on the blockchain. And that token basically proves you own a real-world thing. It's like a digital deed in a way. And this whole concept puts KimberLite right in the middle of a really booming category in the crypto space. You'll hear this acronym a lot, RWAs, or real-world assets. Seriously, people are tokenizing everything these days, from real estate to fine art, and now obviously rough diamonds. It's all about bringing that tangible, real-world value into the digital ecosystem. Okay, so that's the big idea, right? But you're probably wondering, how does a physical diamond, one that's literally dug out of the ground, actually become a digital asset that you can trade from your phone from anywhere? Well, the process is actually surprisingly straightforward. Yeah, it really just boils down to three main steps. First up, the physical rough diamonds are ethically sourced and then locked away in these super high security audited vaults. Step 2, for every single one of those diamonds, a matching digital token, they're calling it an e-diamond, is created or minted on the blockchain. This creates that perfect one-to-one link. And finally, step 3, these e-diamonds get listed on a special marketplace where they can be bought and sold instantly, anytime, 24/7. So the ecosystem they've built has a few key parts, and they're designed for different kinds of investors. You've got the e-diamonds. Those are the tokens that represent a whole single stone. That's probably for folks with a bit more capital. But, and this is key for lowering that barrier to entry we talked about, they also have fractional e-carats. This lets you own just a piece of a bigger, more valuable diamond. All the trading happens on their Kimber market, and the whole shebang is secured by audited smart contracts, which is crucial for making sure everyone can trust the system. Okay, so the tech is definitely clever, no doubt about it. But let's get down to the bottom line. What does this actually mean for an investor? Why should you care about this, whether you're deep into crypto or just someone looking for a more stable investment? Well, for starters, here's a number that immediately jumps off the page, 11.5%. That's the profit sharing KimberLite is offering to its token holders. And you might be wondering, where does that profit come from? Well, it's based on the money they make from professionally cutting and then selling some of the diamonds they hold in reserve. So it creates a real yield for the people holding the tokens, right on top of the asset's underlying value. And this quote from the source material really just nails who this is for. It's pitched as a smart play for crypto natives eyeing stable, high-growth assets beyond the volatility.
In other words, it's for people who are already comfortable with crypto but are looking to branch out. They want assets that have that stability and real-world value without the crazy price swings they're probably all too familiar with.
So, when you boil it all down, it really comes back to solving those exact problems we talked about right at the start. It takes an illiquid asset and makes it totally liquid, something you can trade 24/7. It takes an inaccessible asset and opens it up to everyone through fractional ownership, and it provides a stable, secure, and even yield-bearing alternative for crypto investors. It's kind of checking all the boxes.
And all of this leaves us with one last big, provocative thought to chew on. As more and more of these real-world assets, diamonds, gold,